You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Sports. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe and pound that like button into submission. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson, because the Harris County DA down in Houston has made some comments, and they are rather interesting because they are coming out and saying, look, because Deshaun Watson was not indicted criminally does not mean he is exonerated from responsibility for his actions. Now, look, there's been some extra lawsuits come out, and some of which that have not been, I believe, examined for possible indictment if they decide to pursue that later. As we know, the Browns gave him $230 million, fully guaranteed, back when he had 22 lawsuits. He's now got 26. Some are wondering, could the Browns get out of the contract because 4 new lawsuits have come up? And, of course, the New York Times article stating that they confirmed 66 women in total, but really and truly they come back and said, well, but really there's more than 100. And we know that all these shady goings-on, and I'm trying to clean this up for YouTube, was going down when Deshaun Watson was getting massages. And by shady goings-on, we mean sexual misconduct. Harris County District Attorney, this is PFT, lack of indictment by grand jury was not an exoneration of Deshaun Watson. Some, including attorney Rusty Hardin, want people to believe that the decision of a pair of Texas grand juries to not indict Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson means that Watson has been exonerated. The top law enforcement officer in Harris County, Texas, disagrees. At the end of a podcast interview, Kim Ogg, Mike Mester, gave her the floor so she could say anything about the situation she'd like to say. Here's what she said, quote, "We respect our justice process. I love the law. It's designed to get the truth. That's really what people want. I don't think as a culture we live with injustice. Remember, a grand jury, no bill is not an exoneration. People, even when they clear the criminal justice system, often face accountability and repercussions in other parts of our legal system. And so to determine whether justice was done in this case, you're going to have to wait and see how it comes out on the civil side and through the NFL on the administrative side of things. And then people will determine whether that's justice." I'm not sure I entirely disagree or entirely agree with that statement. That's always been the case, but once the Harris County grand jury decided not to indict Watson on 9 criminal complaints in March, and thanks in part to a tweet that naively linked the absence of an indictment with proof of innocence as part of a broader quid pro quo inherent to the world of breaking transactions 5 minutes before they are announced, teams launched their pursuit of Watson. I'm going to read between the lines here and believe that Mike Florio just took a shot at Adam Schefter, because Schefter tweeted out something to the effect that because of the grand jury not indicting Watson, it was open season on the pursuit of Watson. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Schefter sent out that tweet, and then it was on. It was on immediately. After a weekend of reports regarding this team and that team and some other team being interested in Watson, the Panthers, Falcons, Saints, and Browns officially entered the 4-team race. Boy, they dodged a bullet. The Browns, after being the first team out, decided to go all in with a 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed offer. It worked. The Browns got Watson. Hooray for the Browns. Good luck. The exclamation point quickly became a question mark as reality crept back into the situation. 22 civil lawsuits remained. An NFL investigation continued. The possibility of more lawsuits and more attention and more scrutiny and more people loudly wondering what the Browns were thinking became within 3 months, reality. Ogg's comments underscore the fact that no one should have gotten swept up in the chase for Watson's contract, not without a settlement of all existing lawsuits and a commitment by Watson to resolve any other claims that might surface. Say what you want about the Dolphins owner Stephen Ross, and we'll admit we've said plenty, but he had the right idea. All the cases must be settled before a trade. Browns should have done the same thing, but with 4 teams falling all over themselves to get Watson, the Browns weren't in a position to dictate terms. None of the 4 teams were. Ogg's comments also reinforce my belief that prosecutor John Stallings used the cover of the ridiculously secretive grand jury process to subtly make it known to the grand jury that Watson didn't have to be indicted to face accountability and repercussions in the other parts of the legal system. Again, it would be very difficult to convict Watson with a proof beyond a reasonable doubt, especially since he has the money to hire a dream team of defense counsel who would have had, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit, their way to a win after win after win in criminal court. So what we've got here is we've actually got the DA up there wanting the civil lawsuit to punish Watson, really and truly, or using that, I guess, as a method of justice. I don't really agree with that. I don't think how it's supposed to work, and I don't think a prosecutor should be scared of a legal team out of actually indicting an actual criminal. The Houston police officer that investigated said, we had plenty of evidence that Watson committed multiple crimes. That was testified to. Okay? Also, we've talked about this before, but if you're new to the channel, I did a video last week that actually got quite a bit of views, that out of 24,000 Cleveland Browns fans, 70% of them, 7 out of 10, did not want Watson as their starting quarterback, as the face of the franchise. In fact, they wanted Baker Mayfield. And this has got nothing to do with Baker. I think he gets traded to the Carolina Panthers eventually. But, you know, the Browns, it's not like the Browns were in the Panthers situation, or the Browns were in the situation of the Saints where Drew Brees retired. And even the Saints, I mean, yeah, you got Jameis, and Jameis can be rough around the edges, but at least Jameis had a knee injury. You know, the Dolphins don't know what Tua is. The Falcons had Matt Ryan. But the Browns had a starting quarterback that took them to the playoffs. And I think that was the most head-scratching thing around pursuing a guy with 22 lawsuits that have now turned into 26. So this is going to get much worse, okay? It's going to make the Browns look worse and worse as it goes along. And the NFL, look, the NFL is pushing to get him at least a 1-year ban from the NFL, okay? And then you have the whole, well, I sit out this year, and then I sit out another year. Where are my skills as an NFL quarterback after no play for 2 years? That's being lost in all of this. And still, why you gave him $230 million and then fully guaranteed it, nobody knows. I mean, it's just, it's a clown show again in Cleveland. And it doesn't make any sense. And I understand what the DA is saying here, but I don't love relying on the civil side of justice, because a lot of people will come out and say, well, he wasn't criminally charged, so there. The NFL teams did exactly that. Okay? And she's putting an onus on the NFL to partially punish Watson. Well, that's not how it works. If he, criminally did something and they could prove it in theory, they need to find out if they can put him behind bars. I mean, anyway, you get what I'm saying. It doesn't feel right that this DA wants to rely on the civil side and the NFL to do the criminal side's work? I don't love that at all. So, tell me what you think, black and white sports fans. Peace. I'm out. Till next time. Black and White Network supporters, make sure you check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. Link in the description. Use promo code USA First, all one word. USA First, all one word. 25% off now.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.